Hi guys, I'm Patrick.
I'm Alicia, and this is Bella.
Some of y'all may have already knows a little bit of this information from our intro video and some of the descriptions on our Patreon page, but we basically decided to recently make a huge life change. Um, we wanted to downsize, simplify life, and focus more on making memories than material things. You know, we had this big house, and well, big to us, and you just end up filling it with things, feeling the need to fill it with, you know, material things, even though a lot of it you don't need. So we ended up selling our cars, my Mustang.
And I had a Jeep Wrangler, but didn't need three cars. We kept one of our cars. We also have a Jeep Renegade.
But we'll be selling that soon after we get the boat. And of course, selling the house itself, we're going to reduce the bills greatly. And that's what we're focusing on. And of course, closing the company down, reducing the income at the same time. We won't have the mortgage, we won't have any utilities,
Or insurance,
Uh,
or property taxes.
property taxes. And even after paying off this, we're on a 30-year mortgage. Even after paying it off, I'd be 55 when we paid it off. And we would still have property taxes. And we're here in Pflugerville on this house. It's running $4,000 a year. So I feel like it's just so costly for something that we don't really need. We know there's going to be new bills associated, of course, with the boating lifestyle. We'll cover that more in depth in a future video.
But definitely not as many bills as we're used to now. And so it's going to be definitely more manageable, even with our reduced income, to maintain the bills that we're going to have.
After selling everything, we're going to divvy this money into three, not exactly equal, but fairly equal funds that will either be an investment fund, and then a fund for refitting the boat and cash to live off of, and the last one will be, of course, the boat fund to purchase the boat itself. So we've already had a few people asking us what we plan to do for income. So we'll have a little bit of monthly income off the investment fund, a small amount. However, wherever we are, which initially will be pretty stationary as we refit the boat, we both have skills, so in different things, but we can find employment, and that's not something that we're opposed to. Even seasonal work or temporary work, I'm definitely not opposed to any kind of manual labor or anything like that. So we plan to make the lifestyle work. The main thing is, and I'll cover this more in a later episode. I'll give you the actual number breakdown, but we actually reduced our bills by about 95%. Now we will add additional bills, but even with those costs estimated right now, we're nowhere near what our monthly bills were.
If we do need some extra money, then like I said in the previous video, I've worked in retail before as a shift leader, merchandise handler, or wait tables. I've done that before. Just
We
make
both have. We actually met at Cracker Barrel while I was waiting tables, and she was working in the retail side. So that's another thing. We both have waited tables or experienced wait staff. So, which is usually an easy job to find quickly and where you can earn cash. But we're hoping between reducing the bills enough and the investment income and possibly some income off of our videos monthly,
that this will be an easy lifestyle to maintain because our bills are going to be so minimal compared to what they were before.
Compared to what they were before.
So when we decided to make this change and we realized the cabin wasn't for us, we started looking into boats. We looked at, sailboats and power boats, but we feel like power boats were more up our alley.
Because of my years in auto mechanics, light automotive mechanics, light diesels, and then more recently I have almost
rig.
4 years driving the big rig, and working on that. Especially, we try to do as much of our own maintenance as we could when we owned the company, and I felt like a powerboat was just that I would have a more natural affinity with it. So that's just kind of the way we went. Sailboats definitely undeniably better for range. We'll be mostly doing coastal cruising, intercoastal cruising, island hopping, stuff like that. Hopefully. So initially, of course, we're just going to try to get the boat and get it refitted and get it to where it's in a condition where it could do something like that. My number one thing to tell you is research. When you're looking at the boat to buy, we've been doing this for about 6 months now, and it narrowed it down to what the features you want were. So some of the features we wanted were,
well, we thought it was important that we only have a single engine in the boat. A lot of these boats, especially as they get bigger, have 2 engines, and just more maintenance and upkeep with that. Then also, we did a lot of research, and on these older boats, they come standard with the steel tanks, and it cost a lot to
have them replaced,
upgraded to aluminum.
Rust and corrosion and stuff. So that's another thing that we looked into, that people are saying, the particular boat we came to was 1970s and 80s model trawlers, because it was within our price range. It worked with the size we wanted, 34 to 35 foot. So we had to look at fiberglass only hulls for my particular insurance to cover us. So that kind of ruled out like the Grand Banks, the old Grand Banks Woodies, which we really liked, but again, we're a little out of our price range.
But it's also better that, the fiberglass, because they're a lot less upkeep than a wooden hull would have been.
Yeah, and as far as we've read, less prone to damage. Some of our preferences, we wanted 2 cabins separate. We wanted 2 heads in case one were to break down, or if you have guests, so that they could have their own head. And
speaking of breaking down, we also found it important that with the heads that they be manual if possible, because less likely for something to malfunction.
And easier to repair if it does. And again, this is based off of we've done research as far as reading books, articles, forums, talking to other sailors, who and cruisers, trawler cruisers who have been doing this for 20, 25 years, and we really take all of their advice and information to heart. And so a lot of them have recommended manual head for the reason of less upkeep and less maintenance, and when you do have to repair it, it's easier to repair. The boat we found has 2 cabins, has 2 heads. One is electric, one is manual. The tanks have already been replaced.
The fuel and the water tanks, they are both aluminum.
Which was a big thing to us. So our preferences, and everybody's preferences, your preferences will be different on whatever boat you're looking for, but our preferences, we wanted a wraparound deck. We wanted something with a fly bridge and 2 helms. In our previous video and in our post, we've said, with no experience. Well, having very little experience, mostly as passengers on friends' boats, and mostly on lake craft and smaller boats. There's no substitute for on the water experience, but we really wanted to do something to try to just increase our knowledge about rules of the road on the water, and
yeah, we definitely feel over the time that we've been doing our research that we've gained so much knowledge, and there's still so much more that I know that we have still to learn. But we took a lot of classes. We actually have our
we both got our boater's education cards. So you want to do this. You want to make sure if you do this, that's these ones, that you use something that's U.S. Coast Guard approved, and that you use something that's approved in the state you're in. So we're in Texas, so it's Texas approved, U.S. Coast Guard approved. We did it through the Boat U.S. Foundation because they offer it for free. Any of these reviews or anything, any products we recommend, we don't, we don't get any endorsement for that. So it was all unbiased reviews.
And also this Boat U.S. class, it was very extensive and covered so much information, And
Between all the videos and the material it came with, I think it took us 16 hours to complete.
and it said it was only going to take like 8 hours or something.
Yeah.
But we really took our time because we knew how important it was.
It was a U.S. Power Squadrons class, and they do a lot of boating classes, and they also do vessel safety checks and other stuff. Work with the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary. But this partner in command class was a little more basic, but it covered what to do in emergencies, how to be a first mate, how to take over command from the captain if need be. It was a decent class. It was definitely not as in depth as this one, which was from the Boat US Foundation and was modern marine navigation. And that one really covered how to use chart plotters, how to use all your navigation tools. It covered nautical charts, how to read them, how to do all your calculations, and it was really in depth, and I really enjoyed that one. So I would definitely recommend this. They were both through the Boat US Foundation. I wouldn't actually recommend this one, to be honest with you. I mean, we're glad we did it, but just the amount of information compared to the other classes we took.
We just felt like, the other
we also took
classes we got for free, the ones where we got
the modern marine navigation was $40, but the other ones were free, and they were so much more extensive. And then we also took a clean boating Texas class, which really focused on marine sanitation devices, environmentally friendly.
At the fuel, you have a fuel accident or
fuel
something.
or oil spills and other, protecting the wildlife and just stuff like that. So again, none of this was required, but it's just something good to do to get that extra information.
Yeah, we wanted to be comfortable, confident on the water, whenever we do get out in the water. So we felt like all of this was very necessary for us since we have such little experience.
Right, and I became really interested in the nautical charts and all of that, and it was really fun actually to learn about. So after I finished all these classes, and Alicia will put a link in the description to U.S. Captain's Training, which was another YouTube channel that y'all may be familiar with, that is just awesome. But just check out his channel.
And then we also got this waterway guide.
Yeah.
And it's super, super informative. There's, some nautical charts in here. There's also information about marinas and, if they have diesel fuel or not, or, different shops that are at the marinas.
If they have groceries or ice, if they do repairs at that marina. It's got all the channels to call drawbridges on. It has all your bridge clearances. It's really, which is all information you can find on nautical charts and U.S. Coast Pilot and other guides. But it's really nice how they put it together here. It's
and they
very
update
easy.
it every year, right?
They update it every year, and it's really easy to navigate the guide itself.
It's all color coded and stuff on the side.
Then your marina listings, good docking spots, good anchorage spots, free anchorage spots, mooring spots. It's really an extensive guide. So, and again,
it'll actually say, it's better to cross in between these two buoys when you're going, if you're heading a certain direction. So it's very detailed.
To have the best depth and clearance and stuff. It really has the hints and tips and tricks for all the areas that are detailed. Waterway guide, the cruising authority, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone, especially if you don't have experience in the area. We can look up an area and you really feel confident knowing,
where you're going and how to get there.
Yeah. So the boat we found that we're going to go look at tomorrow is a 1978 Marine Trader trawler yacht, they call it. Basically a recreational yacht based off of a trawler fishing style boat. We went ahead and sent them this 2-page email to request additional information on it. And it also detailed, the stuff that would, acceptable survey, no major defects, acceptable sea trial, boat history report, U.S. Coast Guard vessel safety check, and just all of that stuff. Boat must be insurable and so on and so forth. And they emailed it back to us fully filled out, and they were really detailed about everything. and it sounds like a great boat. Radar, chart plotter,
It does. One of the heads is manual.
and that's the one that's brand new. It says just replaced. Does have generator, heat and air conditioning.
Doesn't it have an upgraded fridge or something?
It does have upgraded fridge. It does have a microwave. Gas range. That's going to be a single engine. I wanted to touch on something she said earlier about why we wanted a single engine for less maintenance. I know a lot of people like dual engines, and I've read and heard from actually some experienced boaters that the majority of the time when you have an issue that affects your engine, that it's going to affect both engines anyways, and have really just recommended to us to get a single engine for better fuel efficiency and for less maintenance costs. So that's something I want to touch on too. So we're really excited to go see this boat.
Yeah, we're gonna leave at 5 in the morning tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
So we're super excited. We probably won't get any sleep tonight. Hopefully we do because it's a long drive. So
But-
we're pretty excited about that.
Yeah, we'll see the boat tomorrow, and
We're gonna bring our boat shoes that we just got and gonna walk around on the boat. Get
Check
lots of good video.
yeah, we'll get lots of good video. Check it out, and we'll post that for y'all too, so y'all can see and let us know what y'all think about it. Maybe give us y'all's opinion before we actually sign the paperwork, because we're 99% sure this is really the one for us. So
Yeah. We felt like just the fact that it had the upgraded aluminum tanks, that was
kind of a sign,
Yeah.
in addition to a lot of the other things that it. So we'll see y'all tomorrow.